What's up, everybody? So we're back out in the shop, and in this episode I'm going to teach y'all one of the easiest ways to put your maker's mark on a knife. Now, not only is it the easiest way, but it's one of the least expensive ways to do it. I put maker's marks on all of my knives. Looks like that right there. It is a reversed E for my name, Eric, and I've been using the same maker's mark since I started making knives. When I was doing it originally, it was a little more simplistic, but the system that I have right now is very easy. It's very easy to replicate, and I'm going to show y'all what that looks like on one of my little forged out scrap knives that I have right here. Just ground some bevels into it. I'll show y'all how to do it on this. Hopefully, you know, it helps y'all out. We'll see how it goes. Let's get over to the workbench. Let's show you how we do it. So right here we have pretty much all of the stuff that we're going to use in this particular process. Now, inside this ammo can is the guts of a battery charger. Now, this is a 12-volt battery charger, and I really like this method because it's very simple. Now, the reason why it's in this ammo can is I didn't like the whole battery charger look, and I didn't like having to wrap the cables around it every single time I was going to put it away. This stores really easily, and all of the cables and everything are inside the actual ammo can. So I like this setup a lot better. The only reason why I have this on the outside is there's a little button here that I need to press, and you'll see that to get all the way to where I want it to be power-wise. So this right here is what we're going to use for the actual electrical part of the etching. When it comes to the chemical part, we've got this right here, these two parts. Inside this is distilled vinegar. Then we have some salt. You can use regular salt, any type of real salt or anything like that, and you'll be good to go. You'll see the ratio whenever we actually mix it into the little cup. Then we're going to be using this little cotton patch right here. These are just gun cleaning squares, just a little, those guys right there. I really like this. This is the easiest method, and it, you know, you got 250 patches, and I only use one per time that I etch. So we're going to be using that. You'll see how that goes into the whole process when we get to there. My maker's mark, this little guy right here, it's just my maker's mark that has been cut out on a piece of vinyl. Now, my wife cut these out with her Cricut that she has. Very easy to do, nothing complicated about that. She cut out a whole entire sheet of them, so I have like 100 of these, and it cost like a few dollars. So that was really cool. This right here, I already had it, didn't really cost me any money. If you were to go out and buy one of these, you're looking at about 20 bucks. And then, of course, distilled vinegar you can get in 2-gallon, 1-gallon jugs or whatever, and just fill it into whatever you're going to use out here. And then salt. Not a very expensive process. I mean, this is a couple of dollars worth of cotton patches. So this is not a break the bank type of etching process. Now, the knife that we're going to be using is just a knife that I ground out of a piece of scrap 1084 that I just had sitting around. We're going to use it to actually do the process on. Now I need to go ahead, hook up the wires, all that stuff, and then start the process. So I'm going to open this up, and then we'll start doing everything. Alright, so now that we have everything hooked up, got it plugged in, we've got our two clamps right here, the positive and the negative. One of the things that I did do was I changed, they both had clamps like this. I changed it out to where this is just a little alligator clip. It's a little bit easier to manage with that size of cotton patch that we have there. Now we're going to go ahead and mix this. Just a little bit of salt down in the bottom. Does not need to be a ton. Just about that much right there. Okay, so we got that in there. We just give it a little stir. You want to make sure that that salt has a good chance to dissolve into the distilled vinegar. And some people use water. Some people use, you know, all kinds of different liquids and setups for this. Me personally, I just find that this gives it a nice, deep, dark etch. and that's what I'm going for. So we got that mixed up right there, and we want to go ahead and put our mark on here. So our little stencil. And what I tend to do is I put it on the left side of the knife, not the right, because whenever people typically hold my knives, they hold them like this, and I want them to see who made it right there. So that's what I'm going for. So now, put it on here. And what I'll typically do is I'll suck it up to the ricasso area, you know, right near the plunge line, and then I'll bring it up to roughly where my flats are going to be, and that's how I decide where to actually place it on the bevels themselves. Now we're just going to place a little bit of tape on either side of the stencil. Doesn't have to be super precise. The whole point behind the tape is because as we start etching this, a little bit of that liquid can splatter over to this area and over here, and it will actually go ahead and put spots everywhere where that hits, and we just want to keep it from splattering onto our finished areas. So a lot of times when we're putting the maker's mark on there, we are closer to the finishing process with this, and I just want to make sure that I'm not accidentally etching where I don't want to etch. Now we're going to take our little cotton patch here, and we're just going to fold it over a couple of times and then roll it up like that. Put it into our negative terminal. Now positive goes on the still, negative goes in the liquid and on the blade. Don't know why exactly that's the way that it works, but that's the way that it works, not vice versa. What I typically like to do is take a piece of steel that I know likes to start the process, and I'll actually start the process on it. For some reason, it makes it to where it etches just way faster and way easier on the blade itself. You don't have to do that. That's just my little process, and I've been doing it that way for a while. Now what I'm going to do is set this to the max power on here. It's got 3 power levels. This is small battery, medium battery in the center, large battery on the bottom. Dip back in the liquid. You do not need a ton of liquid for this. And then we're going to start going. You'll see right here, it's active. If I release it off, these lights will go away. So as long as lights are on, we're actually etching. I'll pick this up and bring it up to y'all. So you'll be able to see the bubbles bubbling up on it as I start coming across. And that liquid will start changing colors and getting darker. And really all you're looking for is to be in any particular spot for only a second or two per time. See all the bubbles right there? This does not take very long to etch a nice deep dark logo into there. I'm not time-lapsing this. This is actually going to be how long it takes to get the maker's mark as deep as I'm about to get it. And you can see there's a lot of reaction going on right here. Okay, that's it on that. We want to wipe off the excess. That way, again, none of that liquid gets onto our blade. We can pull our stencil off. You can see that we already have a nice deep dark maker's mark right there. What we're going to go ahead and do, clean this up with a Scotch-Brite belt, and then I'll show you the finished product in the outro. Now remember, when it comes to all this stuff, all of these are things that you can easily acquire without having to spend a few $100s on an etching kit. Get your stencils made by somebody that has a Cricut. Battery charger, like I said, there's the guts of it right inside there. And the nice thing about this is, again, whenever I'm done with this, all I've got to do, unplug it, wrap my cables up, put it inside there. Now it's ready to store. And then all I had to use was that, some salt, some vinegar, some cleaning patches, and a little cup. So like I said, I'll go ahead and pop y'all up here and give y'all the finished look of that right there. Alright guys, like I said, very simple process to be able to get a real deep and dark maker's mark. And I mean, it is very, very deep. Hook a whole fingernail in there. Came out nice and dark, really clear. Now, the cool thing about this is if you're doing it on a blade that is like a nice looking real finished blade, this is going to be that thing that makes that blade your own. It's going to stand out, especially whenever you do things like acid etch and stone washes. The maker's marks stand out super awesome on those. Give you an example, I'm going to pop up one on the screen right now. Things like that are absolutely awesome, and they just stand out and pop. Super, super, super good. Simple way to make everybody understand that that is your knife. You're the one that created it. And like I said, it's just a battery charger and an ammo box. You do not need to put your battery charger in an ammo box. You can go and get a battery charger from Walmart, Amazon, a hardware store, wherever you want to get one from, and start doing this. Distilled vinegar, salt, cotton patches. You can use a cotton swab, you can use a Q-tip, any of those things to go ahead and create something like that. Guys, if this was helpful, let me know in the comment section down below. Also, if you would, give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Y'all have an amazing day. Y'all stay safe out there, and I'll catch y'all this coming up Tuesday with our Shop Talk Tuesday, where we finish the Hidden Tang knife. See y'all.